Hi everyone, Jill here. Welcome to Keto Living Over 50. So today we're talking about ketones and measuring them. There are different ways we can go about doing that. Should we even bother? Do we want to prick our finger and get our blood tested, or should we pee on a stick and look at a range instead of a specific number and hope that it's sort of accurate? Well, that version is quite a bit less expensive than getting the strips and testing it with a meter, like a glucose meter. And they do measure usually glucose and ketones. Well, when I went through all of this before, a few years ago, I started with the pee on the stick ones, and then later on down the road, I did end up buying a ketone meter and ended up doing that. And I do think it would have been probably a little smarter to have reversed that. And in the beginning, I think it is important to get pretty accurate readings. However, with that said, I have to say that the pee on the stick, it was pretty accurate. At least it was for me. They don't give you a number if you've never seen them before. What they do is they give you, like if you're checking your spa or your swimming pool, like a range, and it depends on what color it turns, and you just match it up and it'll give you a range. You're between this and this. And then it'll highlight where the ideal place is if you fall in there. Anyway, I found it to be quite accurate, and I know that because back then, especially in the beginning, I was seeing my doctor pretty often, and she would always prick my finger and check it with my blood, which is the most accurate way. And it was always in that range. So, you know, I think it worked great. But in the beginning, I do think knowing that exact number is pretty good, because it's a good tool to have to not only check to see where you are, but to kind of check after you're not sure if, you know, you're trying to figure things out in the beginning when it comes to what foods you work well with and which you don't, how much is over the top, and how much you can get away with. So measuring them maybe an hour or two after you consume them will give you a good indication, both with your glucose and your ketone levels, you know, what's going on there. And I think the glucose number is really important too, because you know, we want to keep our insulin spikes from down, which will bring our glucose levels down. So looking at those numbers is also really important, and that number can tell you a lot in how that food reacted, you know, in your body. So it's a great thing to have, I think, in the beginning. And I think naturally you check it more in the beginning, because you are trying to feel things out and see how things are going. So I have been trying to remember to check my levels twice a day. I check it in the morning before I eat anything or even drink my collagen coffee that I do put fats and stuff in. But I don't check it right when I get up, because naturally our bodies raise our glucose goes up, and therefore our ketones go quite down. First thing in the morning, our bodies do that to just kind of get us to get out of bed. And so naturally our fasting numbers, and especially, you know, right when we get up, they're going to be a little higher. And I have seen that. That is very, very true. So I don't test them right when I get out of bed or anything. I wait for a little bit. I wait until, you know, I feed my animals, and then I'll clean the kitchen if it needs it, and just sort of putter around and do what I need to do. And then about 45 minutes later, I'll go ahead and make my collagen coffee and clean up after that, and then sit down at the table, and I will take my readings then. So in a little bit, I'm not sure if it's going to be the next video, but very soon, I'm going to take you guys along with me with my morning routine on just the things that I do and in the morning. I just find that really helpful when other channels do that as well. I want to see kind of, you know, what they're doing, what they're eating, what they're not eating. I don't know. So yes, I actually do think you should monitor your ketones and your glucose, and I do it again around 6 o'clock, which I haven't eaten dinner yet, but it's long enough since I've eaten something else you know, and it seems to be, I've noticed when I look on my app about the time I take it again, if I remember. I haven't been super good about that. So yeah, and then I can tell definitely the times, I think I've done it a couple times, my ketones are the highest at that point and my glucose is the lowest. So it is true in the morning, if you are reading a good ketone level or, you know, anything really over 0.5, I think first thing in the morning when you take it, I think you're golden. I think that's great. You know, chances are you're going to be higher through the day. So if you're reading a 1.0 in the morning and you're just within your first few weeks, I think you are on the road to doing great. And that's kind of where I'm finding myself. I feel like I start really doing well and like I'm really in it when I'm in the upper ones and the mid twos. And this is just through my experience of last time. But when I start getting into the 3s and the 4s, which I want to say I sort of hung out there toward when I had been on it for probably about 9 months, that's when I look back and I didn't feel the greatest. I really think I needed to do something about that, to just kind of bring the levels down a little bit, because for some reason I just didn't feel the best when looking back. I mean, I even had readings, not when I was on paleo, but when I was doing the ketogenic diet, and I did it for about 3 months because they kind of wanted to do an experiment to see if they could kickstart my metabolism. And I had very high readings. I want to say one was 5.6. I was getting 5.1, 4.8. That's really deep. And that's like, you know, unnecessary. You absolutely do not need to go that high. I think being in the 1s and the very low 2s is great. And even 0.8, 0.5, you know, if you're feeling good, you're losing weight, you're not having a bunch of cravings, you're not hungry all the time, and your scale is going down, or even beyond that, you're feeling better, you have a good energy level, you just feel like your clothes are starting to fit better, and you're always hanging out around 0.5, 0.6, 0.8. That's great. I think that's perfect. So everybody's different though. Everybody's different on those numbers that they need to, you know, kind of cruise along in a nice place, and your body's burning the ketones for energy just fine. With me, I have to be careful. I don't know. I think my body can really get there pretty easily, but I don't feel good. So that's kind of another reason that I want to work with my doctor again. I want to revisit that, and because we never really got together and sat down and talked about these things. So this time around I really do, and I want to just say, so this is what I remember. And I don't know if I felt real bad because I was not on a supplement for my gallbladder, of which I do not have a gallbladder, and I wasn't on anything to support that, and the fats I was taking was just making me feel icky. I personally think those numbers are just too high. Nobody needs to be that deep, and I don't know what happened anyway. So, but as for ketone meters, you know, there are a lot of them out there, and the only reason why I chose this one, Keto Mojo, is because the different people that I tend to watch on YouTube that are into the ketogenic lifestyle, so many of them seem to really talk about this meter. So I thought, okay, so I looked it up, and lo and behold, it's one of the most inexpensive ones. So I was kind of happy about that. Plus, at the time, just a few days back, I bought it off Amazon, and I think there was a $10 coupon clip. You could clip a coupon for $10 off. So that's wonderful. What do I like about this one? Because again, I did used to have another one, but this one I like so much better because it's bigger. It just feels good. It's just bigger. And the screen is nice and big. The numbers are nice and big. And it just, I really, really like it. But the other reason why I like it is because, as simple as it is, because all it is an app that you download from your Play Store. Depends if you have iPhone or whatever it's called, but you download the app, and it will go via Bluetooth and transfer your readings over to the app. So you have a running tab of both your glucose and your ketone readings, and you can just kind of see if there is, you know, some kind of trend going on, especially if you're really good at taking them around the same time of day or checking them after, I don't know. It's just nice to have all on my phone. I am a hard copy gal, but I tend to misplace things unless I put them in, I don't know, anyway, this is much better. So I do like that feature about this particular model of the Keto Mojo little reading monitor here. So tomorrow, I'm gonna go through this with you as part of my routine of how I do. We'll take my readings together and I'll kind of go over just the basics on how you use this. It's got a super easy quick start guide though. It'll take you along step by step, very simple. And I'm almost out of the needles. I only have 2 left because I was gonna sit down right now and do a reading for you, even though I just ate probably about, well, it's been almost 2 hours, I guess, but I want to save these for tomorrow, and I need to get more. I'll probably go to Rite Aid tomorrow. So that is my little pitch on why I think you should get some sort of ketone glucose meter that measures both. I think, again, both are very important to keep track of. And now the strips are a little pricey. So that's why a lot of people like to do the kind that you pee on. They are quite a bit less expensive. I think it's a great thing to do if you simply cannot afford the test strips for any sort of meter, because I want to say I even got a good deal. I even got a good deal. I think it was $10 off once again, maybe a little less. I got a bottle of 50 of each, 50 glucose ones, 50 ketones, and I think it was $55, $56. So they are not cheap. And that was even with, I think, clipping a coupon. And I think I even had to order that through their actual website. I couldn't find, why did I order directly through their website? They may have been cheaper there. I'm not sure. But I did order those directly through the website for some reason, and I would have checked Amazon. I didn't order through them, through that avenue. And looking back, I think it would have made more sense for me to do this in the beginning because it's more accurate. You can kind of, you know, play with, it's just a good thing to do. And then as you're deeper in it, you know you're in ketosis. By then you probably know which foods you will probably kick you out or how much of stuff. And then you can later on switch over and do the stick ones, at least that you pee on. You know, at least it'll give you a good range. It was always accurate for me, and it'll give you the range that you're in, you know. And then when you go to the doctor, they'll prick your finger, and it depends on, I guess, on what sort of doctor you go to, but and you'll get the really accurate reading. Or you'll have this, and every so often you can use this, and you don't go through those strips quite so often. That's what I'm going to be doing, probably. So I have a whole list of video ideas that I'm going to be doing for this channel. So if you have any ideas of videos that you'd like me to do on this channel that you would find really helpful or interesting, let me know down in the comment box. I would love to know that. I do know that I'm going to be doing very soon, you know, my morning routine. I'm going to be doing that. I'm going to be doing another one also on should you be thinking about using an MCT oil or, you know, there's a brain octane oil, that sort of thing. Should you integrate that in your day somehow? And I'll be doing several sort of like what I'm eating in a day. I find those really helpful, especially, you know, when you're just starting out, you just sort of feel a little bit, I don't know, overwhelmed. But just remember, it's so simple. It is just really, really simple stuff. And the people that I like to watch, they eat very, very simply. I mean, real simple. And that's what I like. And it just reminds me. It's like I'm like, oh, this is what I ate in a day. And they ate this and then I'm like, well, that's really boring. But, you know, it's simple. And as long as everything tastes good, then I'm good to go. I'll do another one about, should you have dairy? That's very individual. I think that's going to be something that you're going to have to decide based on how your body's feeling and maybe what sort of readings you're getting with dairy. Dairy's tricky. It is also quite tricky with me. I don't know yet what I'm going to do about that. I have been purposely trying not to have too much of that. Anyway, guys, I'm super excited to be doing this channel with everyone. I can't wait till I get some more viewers, commenters down there, and get to know people. I've got quite a few of you that came over from my other channel, and it just makes my day when I see you guys comment down there. It's like, oh, I know her. And so I really appreciate that. So, all right, guys, I'm going to let you go for now. Until next time, I will see you soon. Bye-bye.